The scent of burnt Chinese takeout still lingered in the kitchen like a bad memory. I hadn't really eaten, just nudged the noodles around until they hardened into weird, dry chunks. Her voice was still stuck in my head, ringing sharp like it had happened a minute ago, not hours back. She stood in the doorway, arms folded, smirking like she was in control of the whole damn show. No guilt, no fear, no anger, just cold calculation in her eyes. "You should have seen your face," she said, like it was some kind of joke. I glanced up from the half-eaten box in front of me, and the only thing I could manage to ask was, "What the hell was that?" She just shrugged, like she hadn't just humiliated me in front of everyone we called friends. No build-up, no warning, just a grenade tossed into the middle of my life. I guess deep down, I'd been noticing the signs, the late nights that never added up, the fake yoga classes, the phone glued to her hand even when she showered. But this was the first time she didn't even bother hiding it. She strutted across the room, heels clicking like she was walking down a runway, and stopped just inches from me. Then, in this low, calm voice, she said, "If you're not going to change, I will." She tossed her jacket over the back of a chair like she hadn't just burned our evening to the ground and walked away. Something inside me didn't shatter, it twisted. Because, truthfully, I'd known. I just didn't want to admit it out loud, didn't want to make it real. But there it was, no more denying it. She wanted a reaction, wanted drama. And I realized I was done pretending I didn't see her for who she really was. That night, she did something she never did before, left her phone charging on the kitchen counter. It was like she wanted me to look. Maybe she thought I wouldn't dare. She was wrong. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it, but I got in. The texts were from someone named Lena from work, which, yeah, obviously wasn't real. These messages weren't about work, and there sure as hell wasn't any Lena. Whoever he wasn't some coworker, unless her job suddenly involved beach getaways, hotel rooms, and shirtless selfies. There was one photo that hit harder than the rest. Him in the driver's seat, shirt off. Her next to him, middle finger raised, grinning with the caption, "He still thinks I'm at yoga." I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone. I just stood there, numb, holding onto the device like it was a live grenade. What really wrecked me wasn't the cheating, it was how long she must have been laughing at me behind my back. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't even blink. Just sat on the edge of the bed while she snored next to me, peaceful like she hadn't just obliterated my world with a smirk and a text. The phone stayed on the counter. I didn't touch it again. Didn't need to. Everything I needed was already etched into my brain. The screenshots, the emojis, the way she talked about me like I was some pathetic side character in the movie of her exciting double life. I didn't wake her up, but part of me wanted to. Wanted to see if she'd lie, deny it, twist it around. But when she finally stirred, she just stretched, yawned, and reached for her phone like nothing had happened. That's when her body went stiff. Her lips pressed together, eyes fixed on the screen. She knew. "Where's my charger?" she asked, like that was the big issue. Not, "Can we talk?" Not, "I can explain." Just straight into avoidance. "You read my messages?" she finally asked. I didn't even look up. "You went through my phone. You know that's a serious violation of my privacy, right?" And that was it. That was the moment I walked out the door, not in a dramatic rage, but because something inside me just broke loose. I was done. I didn't go far at first, just walked around the block with my head spinning and my heart feeling like it had dropped out of my chest. The words kept echoing. "You read my messages. That's a violation." Like that was the real betrayal here. Not the hotel rooms. Not the lies. Not the other guy. Just me, daring to uncover the truth. She didn't chase after me. Didn't try to stop me. And when I came back an hour later, she was in the kitchen making coffee like we hadn't just crossed a line we could never uncross. I kept quiet. Sat there watching her move around the room, acting like she hadn't just turned my life inside out. I couldn't fake it anymore. So I stopped trying. Later that night, when she was in the shower, I picked up her phone again. I know, I shouldn't have. But at that point, I needed answers. I needed to know exactly how deep this thing went. And let me tell you, it was so much worse than I thought. There were money transfers, small ones, sent to someone named Chris. Cute little labels like shared dinner, tickets, art supplies. Sneaky, just enough to fly under the radar. And then I found the emails. Hotel bookings dating back months. Weekend reservations conveniently lined up with the times I was out of town visiting my brother. I'd always thought she needed space, time for herself. Turns out that space was a king-size bed and room service for two. The final straw? A voicemail. Buried deep in her deleted folder. I don't know why I played it. Curiosity, maybe. Masochism, probably. But I hit play, and there he was, Chris, laughing. His voice cocky, young, smug. Tell your husband thanks for paying for our weekend getaway. That card still works, right? There was a pause. Then a chuckle. Face with tears of joy, he said, mocking me like I was a punchline in their little comedy show. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until the message ended. I wasn't angry. Not the way you'd expect. I wasn't furious. I was clear. Like something inside me finally aligned. This wasn't just infidelity. This was mockery. Disrespect. She wasn't conflicted. She wasn't sorry. She was comfortable. She was entertained. And I was done being the idiot in the background. But I didn't blow up. I didn't confront her. I didn't flip the table and demand answers. I played it her way. Controlled. Dead behind the eyes. I decided she was going to find out what it felt like to be blindsided too. So the next morning, I got up early. Made coffee, just like always. Poured her mug the way she liked it, right side of the counter, handle facing the fridge. She walked out in her robe, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. Took a sip. Sat down. Not a clue. She thought she had me pegged. Thought I was the type to sulk in silence, eventually forgive, move on. That's the thing about people like her, they mistake patience for weakness. But they don't realize patience can also mean preparation. While she sat in her home office for her meetings, I got to work. Copied everything, texts, emails, bank records. Uploaded it all to a private cloud drive. Gave it a name, Emily's Side Projects. Sent myself the link from a burner account. For backup. For safety. For truth. That same afternoon, I called my best friend Jake. Told him I needed a place to crash. No questions. He handed me a spare key within the hour. You good? He asked, watching me closely. Not yet, I said. But I will be. When I got back to the house, she was on the couch watching some trashy reality show she used to pretend she hated. Looked up when I walked in, like I was just another piece of furniture. Hey, can you warm up that curry from last night? I'm starving. I stared at her. The audacity. She didn't even flinch. I'm heading out for a bit, I told her. Even. Meeting Jake, she asked, not even looking up from her phone. Yeah. Cool. Don't forget almond milk. As I walked past her, I saw her phone light up. Message from Chris. Still on for tomorrow night? I didn't say a word. Just walked out the door and into the cool evening air, a quiet fire burning in my chest. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. But I knew it started tonight. I followed her. Not too close, just enough to keep her in sight. She didn't suspect a thing. Why would she? In her mind, she'd already won. She thought I was still in the dark, still that quiet, dependable guy who wouldn't dare confront her. She drove straight to a Marriott just off the highway. No gym bag. No yoga mat. Just her in tight jeans and a blouse she hadn't worn in months. I parked across the street, engine off, and watched as she got out, smoothed her hair in the side mirror, and walked in like she wasn't about to cheat on her husband for the third time this month. But I didn't get out of the car. Didn't need to. Because earlier that day, while she was in the shower, I'd slipped a tiny voice recorder into the zip pocket of her tote bag. The one she took everywhere. She wouldn't notice. Hell, she barely noticed me these days. It had a range of about 20 feet and enough battery life to last hours. I didn't need video. I didn't want a confrontation. I just wanted the truth, in her voice. In his voice. No more doubts. So I sat in the car and waited. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzed. The live feed kicked in. At first, just muffled movement. Then chairs scraping. Laughter. His voice, too young, too cocky. "I told you, babe. Your husband's clueless. You could cheat on him in your own house and he'd still make you coffee the next morning." She laughed. Not the polite kind she used at dinner parties. This was real. Loud. Almost gleeful. "Oh, I know," she said. "That's what makes it so easy. He's boring. Predictable. He thinks being loyal means putting up with anything." My stomach twisted. Not because it was surprising, but because she was so damn comfortable saying it. Then he added, "You really think he suspects anything?" "Even if he does, he won't do a damn thing," she replied without missing a beat. "That's the beauty of it. He'll just shut down and hope I come back around." More laughter. I paused the audio. That was all I needed. I didn't want to hear more, not now. It wasn't pain I felt, not anymore. It was silence. A kind of quiet rage that doesn't explode, it just settles in your bones and tells you, this is over. And it was. Completely. I didn't storm into the hotel. Didn't try to catch them in the act. That kind of thing only gives them power. No. I had everything I needed. Her words. His voice. The disrespect captured in stereo. She could never twist this later. Never rewrite it to sound less brutal. I drove back to Jake's place, let myself in with the spare key, and dropped my bag at the door. He was watching the game, cracked open a beer, handed it to me without a word. I nodded. Didn't say much. Didn't need to. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Where are you?" "I thought you were with Jake." I didn't open them. Didn't want the read receipt to pop up. Let her sit with the uncertainty for once. I'd spent too long trapped in limbo while she played house with someone else. That night, I transferred half of the joint savings into my personal account. Shut off every autopay tied to our shared card. Booked a consultation with a divorce lawyer. And then I opened that secret Google Drive I'd created. I uploaded everything. The screenshots. The receipts. And now, the audio file. Renamed the folder, Emily's Reality Show. Sent the link from a burner email. Subject line, "Since you like surprises." Body, "You won't need almond milk anymore." Then I blocked her. No warning. No drama. No fight. Just silence. The next morning, she showed up. I was still at Jake's place, sitting on the edge of the guest bed with my coffee when I heard the doorbell. I didn't even have to check. I knew it was her. Emily always knocked a certain way. Quick. Impatient. Like the world owed her attention. Jake glanced at me. "You want me to get rid of her?" I shook my head. "No. I'll do it." I walked up to the door and looked through the peephole. There she was. Sunglasses on. Hair damp. Wearing that same oversized hoodie she always threw on after one of her fake hot yoga classes. The irony wasn't lost on me. She looked tired, but not devastated. Not like someone who'd just lost her marriage. More like someone who was annoyed her little game got interrupted. She rang again, then started knocking harder, like she still had the right to demand things from me. When I opened the door, she didn't say anything at first. Just stared at me. I could see it in her face. She was trying to figure out which version of herself to be. The sweet one, the victim, the furious one. She settled on indignant. "You really think this was the right way to handle it?" she said, arms crossed, chin high like she was delivering a TED Talk. I leaned against the doorframe, calm as hell. "You mean catching you in a hotel room with a guy who calls me your sponsor?" She flinched. "Barely. But I saw it." "You broke into my phone," she snapped. "You stalked me. That's not healthy, you know." I actually laughed. Not out of humor. Just disbelief. "You still think you're the one in control, don't you?" That hit her. Her expression shifted. "I came here to talk. Like adults." "Adults?" I raised an eyebrow. "You laughed about me with him. You emptied our savings for weekend trips and called me a placeholder. We're way past adult conversation, Emily." She stepped forward, voice softer now. "I was unhappy, okay? You stopped trying. You let yourself go. You came home from work and just checked out. I felt alone. There it was. The justification monologue. The part where I was supposed to feel guilty for her betrayal. Instead, I looked her dead in the eye. So instead of telling me, you built a second life behind my back? You used me, lied to me, and laughed at me with him, and now you want sympathy? I made mistakes, she said quickly. But so did you. Don't pretend you were perfect. And there it was again. That word. Mistakes. Like this was about forgetting to take out the trash or showing up late to dinner. Like it wasn't a full-blown double life funded with my money and protected by my trust. I didn't yell. Didn't curse. I just let the silence stretch. Then I said it, calm, final, steady. You're not a mistake, Emily. You're a choice I don't make anymore. She looked at me like I was speaking a language she'd never heard before. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just stood there, stunned, as I slowly closed the door in her face. I didn't slam it. I didn't lock it with a dramatic click. I just let her sit in that silence for once. Let her feel what it was like to be on the outside looking in. After that, it didn't take long for the fallout to start. Text messages from mutual friends started trickling in. Some confused. Some cautious. A few clearly parroting the version of events she'd already begun leaking to everyone we knew. You could smell the spin from a mile away. He was cold. We were drifting. It wasn't physical. Not really. I was emotionally abandoned. Classic Emily. Always the victim in her own story. The first real friend to reach out was Tyler, one of the few I trusted. She came by the house, he said on the phone. Tried to talk to Mel while I was in the garage. She cried. A lot. Did Mel believe her? I asked. Almost, he admitted. But I told her what I knew. What you found. She backed off fast. I was quiet for a minute, then asked, You saw it that night, didn't you? At game night. He hesitated. Yeah, man. I didn't know what was going on, but something felt off. Like she was trying to humiliate you. I just didn't realize how deep it went. Neither did I. The next day, I got the email. Standard legal packet. Nothing from Emily directly, just a cold form letter from some firm with a fancy name. Intent to separate. Financial disclosures. Temporary spousal support request. She beat me to filing. Of course she did. Control the narrative. Stay one step ahead. I wasn't surprised. But I was ready. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. The screenshots, the bank transfers, the voice recordings. I wasn't trying to destroy her. I just wasn't going to let her walk away clean, like none of it happened. Not after how she weaponized every piece of our life together. About a week later, I got a text from her sister, Madison. I don't know the full story, but I'm sorry. I never liked what she became around him. Chris is a leech. Apparently, she'd suspected something was off too. But like everyone else in Emily's orbit, she kept quiet. Too afraid of the backlash. Too used to Emily torching bridges and blaming everyone else for the smoke. It's crazy how fast the mask falls when people stop pretending. I went back to the house once. Just once. Needed to grab a few last things and drop off my key. She wasn't home. And honestly, I was grateful for that. The place felt smaller. Not because she was gone, but because the illusion was. The cozy lighting, the framed photos of us on vacations, the coffee mugs we collected over the years, they all looked staged now. Like props in a show that had already closed. I packed a single box. Some clothes. A few books. Left everything else. When I walked out and shut that door behind me for the last time, I exhaled. Like, really exhaled. The kind that comes from somewhere deep in your chest. The kind you don't realize you've been holding for months. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful, exactly. But it was honest. And that was something I hadn't felt in a long time. I noticed it everywhere. In the car. In the grocery store. In the shower. Silence where there used to be tension. Stillness where there was once constant overthinking. Sure, reminders of her were everywhere. Her favorite cereal in aisle 3. A playlist I forgot to delete. The weird sparkling water she always made me try. Little landmines in the middle of ordinary moments. But they started to sting less. The pain didn't feel raw anymore. It settled into something duller, cleaner, like scar tissue. Jake was good about giving me space. Never pushed. Just kept the fridge stocked, let me vent when I needed to, and left me alone when I didn't. One night, we were watching a game, and out of nowhere he asked, "You ever think, maybe she was always like that?" I didn't even answer. 'Cause yeah, I did. That's what hits the hardest. She didn't change. She just got tired of hiding who she really was. All the control. The emotional bait and switch. The way she used affection like a bargaining chip. It was all there from the start. I just didn't want to see it. A few days later, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Straight to voicemail. I waited a few minutes before checking it. And there it was, her voice. "Hey, it's me. I'm not calling to fight. I just want to talk. I know you probably don't want to hear it, but you should know I'm not with him anymore. It wasn't what I thought it was. I messed up. I know that. Can we? I don't know. Get coffee." Click. She sounded tired. Not sorry. Not broken. Just worn out. Like someone who finally realized the show's over. The me from 6 weeks ago might have called her back. Might have agreed to meet. Might have thought, maybe we can talk. Maybe we can fix this. But I wasn't that guy anymore. She didn't lose me because she cheated. She lost me because she enjoyed it. Because she mocked me behind my back. Replaced me, then laughed about it like it was a game. There's no coffee strong enough to undo that. I didn't respond. Didn't even block the number. She could sit in that limbo for a while. That's where she kept me for months. A couple days later, Madison texted again. She moved out of the house. Left a bunch of your stuff. Want me to ship it? I told her no. Whatever was left, she could keep. I wasn't taking anything from that life with me. Not even the scraps. 2 months. That's how long it had been since I followed her to that hotel and heard the truth for myself. Since then, everything changed. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just slowly. Quietly. The old world eroded, and a new one started taking shape. I found a new place, small 1-bedroom near the lake. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. No shared towels. No fake pastel wall art telling me to live, laugh, love. Just blank walls, my books, and peace. Real peace. Not the kind where you're walking on eggshells, afraid to say the wrong thing. Not the kind where silence means something's coming. This peace is different. It feels like breathing. Some days are still hard. A song hits weird. I see a couple holding hands and feel that old ache creep in. But the pain passes faster now. The anger dissolves easier. Not because I've forgiven her, but because I'm done. A couple weeks after that, I got one last message from Emily. This time, it was an email. Subject, closure. Buddy. I know you won't write back, and that's okay. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for the affair, you'll never believe anything I say about that, but for everything else. For the way I treated you. For the way I made you feel small. I don't expect a response. I just hope, someday, someone sees what I didn't. I stared at the screen for a long time. And then I deleted it. Not because I didn't believe she meant some part of it. But because I didn't need it. I didn't need closure from her. I didn't need her words, her guilt, her final act in the play. Closure isn't something someone gives you. It's something you decide to take. She wanted to end things on her terms. Wrap it all up in a neat little bow, maybe walk away feeling lighter. But her guilt isn't mine to carry anymore. A week later, I was walking by a cafe near my new apartment. And there she was, sitting by the window, alone, staring out with her phone in hand. She looked smaller. Not in size, just deflated. Like someone who finally ran out of masks to wear. She didn't see me. And I didn't stop. No hate. No smugness. No last look. Just distance. And that was enough. 3 weeks after that, the divorce was finalized. 1 email. 1 PDF. 1 digital signature. That's all it took to end 6 years of marriage and 8 years of shared history. Thousands of memories, undone in a matter of clicks. It didn't feel like an ending. It felt like waking up from anesthesia. Fuzzy at first. Then clearer. Each breath a little easier than the last. People always say time heals everything. But no one talks about the gray space in between, the part where you're no longer heartbroken, but not whole either. Where you laugh again, but sleep with a weight in your chest. Where you know you made the right decision, but still wake up some mornings wondering if you could have done more. Been more. But here's what I've learned. You don't lose yourself all at once. You give away little pieces. You let the small comments slide. You excuse the coldness. You pretend the silence isn't a punishment. You shrink, inch by inch, until one day, you look in the mirror and don't recognize the man looking back. Emily didn't just cheat on me. She dismantled me. And I let her. I let her change me, edit me, dull me, just so I could keep being enough for a version of love that never respected me in the first place. I used to think loyalty meant staying. That you proved your love by enduring the worst. But that's not devotion. That's self-destruction in a prettier outfit. So yeah, I'm rebuilding now. 1 brick at a time. I've started running again. Reading. I picked up my guitar for the first time in 2 years. I even booked a solo trip. Just me, a backpack, and no plan. Not to find myself. I already know who I am. I just want to live without tiptoeing around someone else's moods. If you're reading this and something feels familiar, if you're constantly forgiving, constantly shrinking, constantly walking on eggshells in a house you helped pay for, take a step back. Love should feel like home, not like a maze. Emily was the storm, but I survived her. And now, standing in the quiet after, I've never been more sure of what I deserve. And I'll never accept less again. Thank you for visited my YouTube channel. Your support, likes, and comments truly inspire me to create even more engaging content. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. You're a part of this amazing community, and I'm thrilled to share my stories with you. See you in the next video on YouTube.